Hi guys and welcome back to my YouTube channel. It is Nikki here. So today I have this prom makeup look. Like, I'm really digging this look. I think it's beautiful. I wanted to go for something soft. Of course I sat down and I kind of didn't know what look I was going for, but I knew that I wanted it to be somewhat natural, soft, and I wanted it to be universal. So I wanted it to be a look that could go with any dress or suit or whatever you're wearing. I wanted to go with any sort of colour, so I wanted to keep it quite neutral, you know, that's very me. So let me know your thoughts of this look down below. But if you want to see my prom makeup tutorial, then just keep on watching. Okay guys, I'm really excited to be filming this. I'm going to be doing a drugstore prom tutorial. We're going to start off with a fresh, I can't get my words out today, a fresh base. What I would suggest is do your skincare, do your prep, do your exfoliating, do your shaving, do everything that makes you feel good, wash your hair. And I would just suggest, like, do a face mask that kind of hydrates and plumps up the skin. And then I'm going to go straight into, this is the Soap and Glory Bright and Pearly Radiance Boosting Cocktail, just to further add to that skincare before we start applying our makeup. Okay, so hopefully you can see that that's added just a beautiful kind of like glowy skin look, very effortless, really lightweight. Like, I can't even feel it on the skin. Then I'm going to move in to my e.l.f. This is a Natural Glow Lotion, and we're going to pop this on to add to that dewiness. Also, quick side note, how cute is this headband? I felt like it was super like prom appropriate. I like it because it just kind of pushes my hair back. I don't know who it's by, honestly, I'm sorry. I searched my emails and I just don't know the brand. So if you know them, let me know down below, or if you are the brand, then also let me know down below. I want to just quickly say, it took me a hot minute, and this thing has been really affecting me. I don't know if you're going to see it. I don't know if it shows on screen whilst you guys are viewing it, because I've not edited this video yet, but I've never noticed it. It's almost like there's a crack in the lens. If you guys can see it, let me know down below. It's like a really soft hazy line across here, and I can see it on my tablet and I can see it on the camera, like when I view it in the viewfinder, but I don't know whether it's going to come out when I put this on my laptop to edit. But I've been sitting here staring at it, cleaning my lens. I took about a 20-minute break to clean my can't speak, need to compose myself, to clean my lens to see if I can get rid of it. It's not dirty. It almost seems like there's a little bit of a crack, and it's not shadowing either, because it doesn't matter what room I go into with natural daylight, artificial lighting, this crack keeps coming up. For my drugstore foundation, I don't know what other drugstore foundation I would use other than the Wet n Wild. You guys know that I love this. Sorry about that outside. This is the Photo Focus Desert Beige shade. It's a tiny bit lighter, but it fits me perfectly when it's not summer, because I feel like I've tanned a little bit. But nonetheless, I'm going to go ahead and pop this on. It's more of a satin finish, very lightweight, but covers what needs to be covered. And I love the spatula applicator on it as well. So I'm just going to pop this on and blend it out using my damp beauty blender. Moving in to concealer now. A little bit odd, but I'm going to be using the Revolution. This is the Conceal and Define foundation, the full coverage foundation, as opposed to the concealer. Now, you guys know that I love the concealer. I just felt like using the foundation today because I feel like it's just that tiny bit extra coverage, and I feel like even though it's the same shade, F12, this shade just differs ever so slightly, and it's just a little bit darker, which I prefer when I'm covering and correcting my dark circles. So I'm going to pop this on just underneath my eyes, a little tiny bit around my mouth, because I don't want it to get ashy, and then I'm going to blend it out. Guys, the coverage of that foundation as a concealer, let me know what you think down below, because I think it's insane. I do think it's slightly a little bit more coverage than the concealer. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts, because that's how I feel, and it is like that for me, and I just feel like the colour just sits that little bit better in the foundation as concealer. Now to highlight, because you guys know your girl loves to highlight. I'm going to be using the Maybelline Anti-Age the Eraser Eye Perfect and Cover Concealer in Light. Why does it have to be such a long name? I don't know. But I love the kind of like applicator on it. I don't think it's the most hygienic. I don't think doe foot applicators are the most hygienic, but I love them, and I like this sponge because it just allows a lot of product to come out. So I'm just going to dab this underneath my eyes and the high point of the face, and then I'm just going to blend it out to give us a little bit of a highlight. Okay, I just want to point something out very quickly. You don't have to do this stage. I'm aware that I look crazy. When I add my bronzer, however, it will come together. I just need a little bit of highlight, because I like to go quite ham with the bronzer, and if I add a lot of bronzer and I've not added highlight, then it kind of looks like my skin tone is darker, like a lot darker than everything else, and that's why I add it, just to clear that up. But I know and I'm aware that I look crazy right now. So for bronzer, I love cream bronzing, and I actually forgot to add these to my faves. I did the video on the cream and powder favorite bronzers, and I forgot to add the Revolution foundation sticks. Now they are super affordable, and I like to use the shade F13 to bronze for a daily. And then I like to also, today I'm just going to mix with a bit of F14 just to spice it up a little bit and give us that really nice kind of J-Lo bronze effect. So I'm going to do the normal places that I would bronze with powder, pop the cream on, and then buff it out using a fluffy brush. Just going to quickly dab over certain areas just to tone things down, make sure it's all blended in. Listen, I don't think you would know that this is a drugstore foundation, and by that I don't mean that the drugstore don't do good foundations. I just mean that for like my skin tone, it's difficult to find shades. It just is. It's difficult to find concealer shades. It's difficult to find a correct that actually works and isn't like a pure orange or a pure red, and it's difficult to find them like golden undertones. So these are obviously my favorite products that I use from the drugstore, but I know that it can be hard for a girl or a guy to find their shades when they are a little bit more tan or on the darker complexion side. But I mean, I feel like my base looks exactly the same when I use high-end products. So for that, and for a fraction of the price, I mean, look at my skin. Now that brows are on, I'm going to move on to eyes. I'm going to be using the new eyeshadow palette by Nip and Fab. It's called It's a Vibe, and they've got quite a few new ones that have just come out, but this one is like neutrals, but it's got like rose golds in it, and it's very me. Now I feel like for this eyeshadow, I want to stay quite natural neutral, because I want this prom look to go with every single outfit. So whether you're wearing red, pink, black, blue, green, I just want it to be neutral so it goes with everything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with this shade right here. It's one of the lightest shades in the palette, and it's kind of peachy. So we're going to use this as our transition color on a fluffy brush. Now that color is like a very, it's lighter in the palette, but it's a very soft haze of warmth. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that brush and connect it to my nose contour as well, and just run that down. Now that that's on, let's go straight into that kind of chocolatey brown color. Now just dipping into it a little bit, I'm now going to run this into my crease. I don't want it to come too far up, but just in my crease to create that little bit of depth there. Now I'm super aware that I used a fluffy brush to kind of blur out that brown. So it means that it's going to be placed in the crease, but it's still going to blow out. So you can see a little bit of a line, but it's blown out. Now just to kind of define that a little bit more, what I would suggest is go in with a smaller precision brush. I'm going to go back into that brown, and I'm going to whack that into the crease just to create more of a definitive line there. Now as much as I dig and I love a matte eye, I know you guys are going to go for glitz and glamour. I think you're going to be wearing quite a few jewels. Things are going to be a little bit glittery. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back into that same palette. I'm going to take the gold and the kind of pinky rose gold. You don't have to, it just depends on what you're wearing. Just go with the gold if you're worried about mixing colours. If you're wearing a lot of colour, then just go for a neutral. But I'm going to mix these two together and pop it on the lid. Okay guys, now this is going to be completely personal preference. I'm kind of, I say this, but I'll probably do it in my next tutorial, I'm kind of over like that cut crease phase. I'm just not really about that life. I like it kind of really soft and blurred out. If you do want the cut crease, you want like a kind of dense packer brush like this. Take your product and just follow your crease line. So if I just dab and then swipe and really feel my crease, I'm going to get like a pure cut. Now you can leave it like that and cut the other side, and you can go all the way just to have a really nice kind of cut crease effect without having to like apply concealer and do all of that. You can do that. If you don't want that, and I don't really want that, I want it just to be kind of like hazy and it's a bit too cut for me, then take your small blender brush and blend out all of the edges. Now we're going to be doing the most with this palette. I'm going to go back in to that brown, dip in with an angle brush, and then I'm going to give myself is not going to be like a definitive wing liner, but we're just going to bring out the top lash line just to give our eyes more of that kind of cat's eye look, but without it being black and being, I want it to look really, really effortless and smoked. So we're just going to build it up and smoke it out a little bit just to give us a little bit of drama on the top lash line. You know what? I really like these eyes. I think they're really soft, really girly. I think they've got, from what I can see, a hint of pink to them, which I really like. Of course, you can kind of swap out that lid colour for whatever kind of satin shimmery colour you want. But I think it looks really soft, and that's what I was going for. Now, before I smoke out the bottom lash line, because you guys know that I'm gonna do that. You don't have to if you don't want to. I just like it because I feel like I've got fine lines underneath there, and when I smoke it out, you can't see it as much. I am just gonna bake. Now, you want your makeup to be very long lasting. I know it's gonna be a super long night and you're gonna get really sweaty, so just powder, just to set everything in place. I'm gonna be using, this is the vichy, or vichy, I don't know, dermablend in the, I think it's just a translucent. It's just called a setting powder. It looks a little bit like this. You can get this from Boots. Now, I know that this brand is a little bit more on the pricier side, so I mean, I don't tend to use powder a lot, and if you've been following me for a while, you know I don't. So I don't have any other drugstore powders that I would recommend. If I was going to recommend a high-end one and you wanted to invest in one, I'd recommend the NARS translucent powder in crystal. That's the one that I always go to, but this is the only drugstore one that I've got, and it's pretty good as well. So I'm going to just bake with this. I'm going to pop this on a dry sponge, and then I'm going to press this underneath my eyes to set that area. Press this on my forehead, around my mouth, around my nose, and at my chin area, just to set everything in place. I'm aware I look crazy, but whilst I bake, I'm just going to smoke out my lower lash line. I'm sorry, I just realised that I forgot to tell you what I was smoking it out with. I just smoked it out with a little bit of the brown mixed with the transition colour, just to mute it down a little bit, and we've not gone too high, I've not gone too low. Now I'm just going to brush away this bake. Baking defo makes you lose a little bit of that definition from the bronze. So I'm just going to take my brush and dab. Don't swipe because you don't want to disrupt any powder, but I'm just going to dab over. Now, of course, you could take a bronzer powder, but I don't feel the need to because I'm going to be adding blusher, and just dab in the areas that you might have lost a little bit of colour. Because you guys know that I like to jump around the face, I'm going to move on to blusher and highlighter next. I know the eyes are not complete, but I just want to see what it would look like. I'm trying to tie everything together, you know. So I'm going to be using the Nip and Fab. This is their blusher palette in 02 Blushed Bright, one of my faves. And I'm actually going to take a mix of the orange and the lighter pink here, mix them together to create a really nice coral, and apply this to my cheeks because I want to give more of like that kind of freshly pinched skin look. Notice how when I use a brush, I have like this thing with powder, like when I use powder I have to be a lot more cautious just because I know that I like to use like liquid and creamy products, and I don't like doing these swipey motions just in case it kind of like congeals on the skin and it mixes with the powder. So everything that I then put on is usually more of a kind of like a pat, you know, like a pouncing off the face motion, and then I'll do a slight kind of swipe, just because I've been that victim where I've baked my face, baked the concealer, and then I've got to put highlighter or blusher or something like that on, and it's literally all separated, and I hate that. It's like one of my pet peeves, so just be really, really cautious. Now for highlighter, one of my drugstore faves, I've got quite a few highlighter faves from the drugstore, but I've been loving this Sleek highlighter palette. This is in Copper Plate, and oh my gosh. All of these shades for a tan skin, darker skin are divine, like they're beautiful. I can't even pick which one, so I just kind of mix all of them together and they create the most beautiful wet look highlighter. Now if you wanted more of a natural highlighter, then don't even put anything on because the natural sheen of your skin will give you kind of just like a fresh skin look. But of course, I feel like you're going to want to be blinding on your prom night. So I'm going to mix them all together and then apply them to the high points of the face. Listen, when I've got this highlighter on, you can't say anything to me. Honestly, you just can't. It's so beautiful. It's not glittery. It's just a sheen. I just love it. So I'm going to take a little bit more, and I'm going to pop this in my inner corners because it's very me to pop it in my inner corners. I love that kind of brightness. I'm going to pop a tiny bit on my brow bone as well. I'm going to pop on a little bit of, this is the Rimmel London. I've had it for ages, but it's just the nude liner, just in my waterline, just to open up my eyes a little bit. Now you absolutely don't have to do this bit. I am aware that it looks a little bit crazy. Like, I don't wear nude eyeliner a lot. I know that Kim K does. I feel like she does anyway. But it does settle. So it looks kind of like, what did you put in your eyes? It's too much. And then as you're blinking, it will settle and it will kind of dull itself down. So I'm going to trust the process, and I'm going to pop on mascara. I'm going to be using the Maybelline. This is the Colossal Big Shot Volume Express Mascara. And I'm going to add this to my top lashes. And of course, we are going to be applying falsies. Now you of course absolutely do not need to wear false lashes. You can go with your natural lashes. Depends on what look you're going for, but if you know me, your girl loves some falsies. So I'm actually going to go in with tatti lashes. Now I know and I'm aware that you can't buy tatti lashes from the drugstore, but you can buy them online, and I personally feel like they're super affordable for the amount of times that you can reuse them. I reuse lashes up to 15 to 20, probably more times. I use the lashes until they are absolutely butchered and they look wonky on my eyes. So these are a fresh pair. They're in the style TL3, and I'm just going to pop these bad boys on. Now that lashes are on, and I forgot how much I love these lashes. I've not worn them in a hot minute. I feel like it's been years since I've worn these TL3s, but they are stunning. I'm going to be applying a little bit of mascara on my bottom lashes. Before I move on to lips, I just was thinking right now, I was like, I really love buying lashes. The reason being is because I like to try different styles. They would dramatically change just your eye makeup. So if I had like really full lashes, my eye makeup would look a lot more glam. This is between natural and glam, I feel like. Or if I had like really neutral ones, so say you wanted to go for lashes that were a little bit more on the neutral side, then try and go for Ardell's from Boots. The reason why I don't really wear them is because they honestly look like my own real lashes. My real lashes are quite long and they just kind of look like a wispier version of them. So they're really good for the no makeup looks, or just something really natural where it's just about skin. I like to wear Ardell's. But if I wore Ardell's with this look, this eye makeup would look completely different. So I feel like purchasing lashes is like one of my favorite things, one of my favorite products to purchase. What would yours be? Because I would have thought I would have said concealers, but actually I don't have fun picking out a concealer because I'm worried about the shade of it. But with lashes, I could be like, yeah, no, because I know what I like. Let me know down below. For lips, I feel like this look that I've created could go with any lip color. You could do brown, red, black, pink, nude, whatever you want. For me and for this video, I'm going to do like a pinky sort of nude. So I'm going to go and line my lips to start off with my I Heart Revolution. This is like the multicolor lip liner, and I'm actually going to go with the darkest one on this style and just quickly line my lips. Now that the liner's on and I've kind of smushed my lips together just to get the colour on the lip a little bit as well, I'm going to be using this kind of like baby pink, which I've not used in a while. I don't really tend to go for pink shades, I don't know why. But this is the shade that I'm going to be using. I'm going to pop it in the centre. It's Maybelline Superstay Matte Ink in the shade 10 Dreamer. We're going to pop a little bit in the centre, and then I've got a fluffy brush where I'm just going to pat it down. So this is a really good trick if you're going to be wearing like a colour that is lighter or you're wary of it. Always kind of pat it into the lip and it will just kind of blend into the liner. Now this very much is a bit too pink for me, but I'm going to go over top with a gloss, so I'm not too concerned. If you wanted not a pink or you wanted something like very neutral, then go with NYX Suede. The NYX Suede, Liquid Suede in Sandstorm is kind of like a beautiful nude shade. So if you wanted it matte, maybe mix this over top. But I'm going to go in with a gloss over top. This is the barrym That's Swell Extreme Lip Plumper in the shade Get It. And I'm just going to pop this over the top. Now, I personally love a gloss. I've loved it for a year or so now. I'm really into gloss as opposed to matte lips. I feel like that lip plumper is tingling a little bit. But I feel like it just really married the lip liner with the lipstick and kind of melted it all together. Otherwise, you've just got to be careful because you might have like a strong outer edge and it might not be blurred in enough into your lipstick. But I'm loving this look. Now, just to finish, because I know that I've added a little powder and just to kind of fix, refresh, all of that jazz, I'm going to be adding Revolutions. This is the Hyaluronic Hydrating Essence Spray. They do a bunch, but I love the scent of this. So I'm just going to spritz my skin with this. And that, guys, is it for my prom makeup look. Let me know down below what you thought of this, because it's giving me ultra princessy vibes. Like, I love it. I'm digging this look. I think it's really pretty, and I feel like the lip complements the eye. I love the lashes. I feel like they're very wispy. I like everything about this look, other than my lips are a little bit like on fire, like they're tingling like this. So I'm gonna sign out here. Let me know down below what you thought, and also make sure that you follow me on Instagram because I upload content there. I upload a video every single day on Instagram, so make sure that you're following me there. And I love you guys so very much. I will see you in my next video. Mwah.